Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody inside and outside the ballpark. My name is NovedPlayer, and welcome to episode 58 of the Noved Notes podcast, where we talk to many different types of creators and communities inside of the platform. I'm your host, and with me today, I have one of the amazing PvP communities. One of their people was lovely enough to come on. We have the Doctor Who fanatics. We have Dalek HQ. We have AllMighty. AllMighty, hope you're doing well.
Hello.
Yeah, welcome on. Hope you're doing well. My camera buttons would work. There we go. Hello, there you are.
Hey.
No, hope all.
I'm doing good, thank you. How you doing?
Yeah, doing good, doing
Yeah.
good. So for the general listening audience, what exactly is a Dalek and Dalek HQ?
So, kind of in the show, the Daleks are like a kind of like a mutated race of once humanoid, but then they kind of mad scientists who created them kind of mutated his own people, shoved them into these little tanks, took over the world, and they're one of the most prominent villains in the Doctor Who series. One of the infamous.
Fair enough. To be fair, I'm not like a huge Doctor Who nerd, but I know. I mean, I've seen you guys around the VRChat platform for quite a long time. So I guess in that case, what is Dalek HQ?
Dalek HQ is a roleplay and roleplay and PvP group. We roleplay as Daleks, obviously. We dabble around in the PvP scene with the PvP communities and all that. We also we do game nights and just pal around. We have our own little events. Do our own games in the community as well. We just a pretty big social platform hangout area for a lot of people with different paths and roads of life. Kind of just show up here in the HQ. But we just predominantly themed around the Daleks.
No, fair enough. So I guess kind of to start off a little bit. So what got you personally into VRChat?
What brought me into it though was just like the amount of stuff you could do with this game and like the communities. Like I was seeing Halo, Warhammer, Daleks. I mean, they eventually wrote me in. 5 years almost. Let's go. And but yeah, it's just I was seeing all this stuff and I was just like, whoa! And so VRChat wrote me in 2020 around there. It's been uphill since.
No, fair enough. I would say definitely around that era was when the big VRChat boom, when everyone was kind of locked inside and nobody knew what to do, and it was definitely part of that pandemic boom, to say the least. So I guess kind of to go into that a little bit. So you'd mentioned like the PvP communities and like the roleplay communities and whatnot. So I guess kind of like in your personal opinion, what was like your first experience getting into that roleplay and PvP experience?
I just thought it was it's fun. It's entertaining. It's fun. Yeah, there's not much to say on that. It's fun and
fair enough.
I like it. I like it. It's enjoyable. I like seeing all the different people, and seeing how they roleplay with it and stuff. And
I gotcha.
It definitely brings communities together.
I gotcha. Well, I was meaning like more of like your first experience. Like, is there any like
Right.
anything like significant like that kind of roped you in? Because I know you mentioned like Halo and a bunch of other stuff. But was it like an event or
my first? No, my definite first like taste of it was when I was hopping around still. I went to Snowden, one of the Snowden HD, that old world, and I was just palling around there, and then all of a sudden I just see all these Daleks just pile into this instance, and I was like, "What the hell?" And then obviously I got roped into their roleplay. They were roleplaying, they were invading it. It was like a sector control. And I got roped in, and I was like, I want to be a part of this. And sure shit. That was day one. I was roped into the role play scene, into the Daleks and all that stuff. So the Daleks are kind of really kick started the role play stuff for me. That was probably my first memorable experience.
Hell yeah. No, that's what's up. I mean, definitely, it definitely kind of goes to show that when communities do like the whole rating thing, it definitely brings more members in. Um, whether it's Uganda Knuckles or, with Daleks in your case, um, any type of community, or I mean, there's like Hapus, there's 100 different types of raid communities out there. Like when it comes to that, um, but no, that's what's up. It's really cool. Like that's how you kind of learned about them, was from a raid. So I guess kind of to go into things. Uh, so what are some examples of some of the events that you guys do within Dalek HQ?
Some of the events that we do roleplay wise, some of our guys in the High Council, we call it, they focus on lore events, they call it, where they go in, they kind of script up a story, and then they make that into a whole event, and people play this little story that we've kind of conjured up, and then we just kind of role play that, or just normal like sector controls and stuff. We just go in and start palling around as Daleks and just kind of putting on the little bit of the act of oh, we're the Daleks, exterminate and all that. And then like mostly like the city set 10 stuff too. You kind of hold the gates and you're like process people and just the fun stuff.
I gotcha. And correct me if I'm wrong. A lot of your community is like desktop based. When it comes to like the entirety, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Actually, in fact, myself right now I'm in desktop, but it does not deter us from PvP and stuff because we have a desktop mode and a VR mode for it all. So you can be in VR or desktop mode, and you can still get in the fight.
No, fair enough. I would say it's always good to have compatibility when it comes to desktop versus VR. So I guess kind of one of the questions I want to ask, because you've done fights and you've done events. So like what are some of the fights, like the PvP side of things? Like because I know you guys, done collaborative events with other communities. What are some examples of like some of the fights and collabs you've done?
Um, One of the most memorable collabs, um, is definitely the Blood Ravens. Shout out to Flapjack. We love Flapjack and his boys of the Blood Ravens. They're one of our oldest allies, and it the story about how we actually met was really funny because if I may go off the rails a little bit on the question.
Sure.
So remember back in the day, we went over to one of the Blood Ravens, or at least the Warhammer community's worlds, and it was like this big Coliseum world. I can't remember the name of it now, but some of our guys took some screenshots, shooting at it and stuff, and oh, haha, and just funny. But we didn't even know there was like a whole that side of the community. We just thought it was a world, and some guy took that screenshot and went to the Blood Ravens and stuff, said, hey, you guys are being raided by these Dalek guys. Like, completely fabricated the story. And then all of a sudden, our homeworld is just invaded by the Warhammer community. And we're like, what the hell is going on here? That was actually the first time we met the Blood Ravens, and after we all kind of talked it out, we laughed. It was such a small miscommunication, but it was funny. It brought the community together, and ever since then, we've been friends with the Blood Ravens, and we think they're the coolest guys ever. So that's one of our biggest PvP partners for sure. PvP itself, I've been indulged into that a lot. I've delved into it greatly for the community. Alone being the main ambassador for the group. I fell in love with PvP when I found it, and it's been nothing but sort of greatness. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, that's what's up. I was say because yeah, there's been quite a few communities that have been around for quite a long time. Like you had mentioned specifically the Blood Ravens, but there's other ones out there as well. Um, it's kind of crazy how indulged the VRChat platform is when it comes to like PvP and roleplay communities. We've had a few different role play communities on, like the Kocho no Yakuza, Tuatha de Danann, and a few others. And then we're starting to get more PvP communities now, wanting to come on the podcast, which I'm very thankful for. Which you you have to stay tuned for one of the upcoming episodes, because we have one of the devs of a very famous system in the PvP community coming on. But
Yes, I know
uh,
exactly. I know. I've heard all about it. I've heard all about it.
yeah, can't spoil it yet, but just stay tuned.
Nope.
But I'm super excited to kind of get more into the PvP side of things, because they do make up a good chunk of the VRChat community, in its own right.
Yeah,
So
and not a lot of people know about it, which is really weird because I still kind of find people out in the wild and they've never heard of it. And I'm like, dude, you gotta check it out.
oh, for sure. So I guess kind of one of the questions, because if I remember correctly, you guys are cross-platform compatible, correct?
Yes, we are. That's one of the things we're starting to strive for heavily now is cross-platform.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, because obviously with VRChat at its peak now, we are more Quest and Viveport players than like regular PC players, which a lot of people don't understand that. Surprisingly enough, they're like, "Oh, it's the Quest kids, yada yada yada." But you got to remember, Quest is the most affordable, right? A lot of people are gonna want to go to
Oh
Quest
yeah,
because of the affordability.
no, straight up, and we've kind of already analyzed that. We did the analysis on that, and we were just like, man, we really need to start doing the Quest stuff. We need to start really doing cross-compatible stuff. Because
Hmm.
that's just the future of the platform. It's not because a lot of people want to or whatnot. It's because that's the future of the platform. If you want to grow with the platform, you got to follow the platform, and
No, for sure.
that's just how it do be.
Yeah. So I guess kind of to go into that a little bit. Um, so when it comes to like the compatibility side, do you see a lot of differences between like your PC avatars versus your cross-platform avatars, or is it pretty almost similar, in a sense?
Um, Appearance wise, it's a little different, and ability wise, it's vastly different just because of the limitations of Quest. But we still put equal amount of effort and time into both avatars and in both versions of it. Not one's not getting oversighted or anything or overshadowed. It's two different platforms, so it's two different models for two different platforms. But we catered to both of them.
Hell yeah. Now obviously when it comes to the Daleks in particular, there's a bunch of different types of Daleks. When it comes to what you guys do, out of curiosity, do you have any that you could show off, when it comes to like certain types of Daleks that you guys have?
Yeah, I have a few saved on me. Here's actually one of the ones I keep on me most of the time. It's the Quest Supreme. It's public for everybody, but yeah. This is it's one of the few that we have. This is the Quest one here. It's got different colors.
Customizations, nice.
Customizable. Yeah, yes. Unfortunately, I don't have too many on me. Um, because everyone who does the PvP stuff for the group, they usually already have it saved on their favorites. So they're just kind of you only need to tell people to switch into stuff because they kind of already know what the deal is.
Right, that's fair.
And so I don't have too many on me, but yeah, we do have a lot. There's a huge amount of different ones out there, and maybe more to come.
Hell yeah. Well, I guess out of curiosity, because we could always throw pictures up on the screen. What are like some examples of like some of the other versions of the Dalek?
Um, I definitely can show you a picture. I can send you definitely a picture of a few.
Yeah, for sure.
We just recently made the remastered, I guess, the Imperial Daleks from back in the day, the very classic Who style Daleks. So we do our own custom Daleks. We do Daleks from the newer show. We do Daleks from back in the day. We kind of do anything that's kind of Dalek.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, I'd say because once again, I'm very uncultured when it comes to Doctor Who. I will flat out say it, but I know how much you guys have done when it comes to like the VRChat community. So that's why I wanted to, learn a little bit more about you, to say the least. Um, but so I guess kind of one of the things I wanted to talk about. You guys are still doing, if I recall correctly, you guys are still doing like the raid stuff and kind of going to public instances. I could be completely wrong, but from what I've heard, there's still some Daleks that go to like instances and stuff and do some shenanigans. So I guess kind of like, what is that like from a raider perspective, for like the general listening audience? What is that like?
Um, you gotta keep at it, because sometimes some people are just like the Dalek and just like they ignore you, and you just gotta not be deterred. But it's fun. I mean, as long as you're kind of palling around with your pals, then it's just like it's just an average day of you hopping into a world and just being a Dalek. Just all in the day's work kind of
Gotcha.
deal.
Fair enough. So I guess kind of one of the questions I want to ask. So with how long Dalek HQ has been around, or at least because you're around since 2020, you said. Because obviously, with groups now being able to make instances, uh, would you say it's more easier or more difficult when it comes to rating? Because obviously, there's groups that like have kind of stricter moderations, whatever the case may be. I guess, have you personally seen any like differences in raids, at least from your guys' perspective, when it comes to that?
Um, I don't think I can personally say that I have seen any difference. We definitely, I mean, if it's something, if people are definitely already doing something there, and they're like, hey, can you maybe not? Well, we're gonna be obviously like, okay, sorry about that, and we'll probably just go on our merry way. But to say that it's kind of changed how we raid and stuff, not really. And I guess we wouldn't really call it raiding, because it's against TOS, stuff like that. That's what it says in the VRChat TOS, don't raid, but more sector control. And then like we'll join an instance, we'll like make a new instance, and then we control that instance, and we also probably do our own like group publics as well. And that helps with moderation too, with just getting the trolls out, or just the bad people. Don't really need to be there ruining the fun.
Right. No,
Kind
that's
of thing.
fair. That's fair. Um. Well, yeah, I was gonna say, because obviously, kind of another question, because you've been around since 2020. Um. So, what has been like the overall improvement when it comes to like your community, with Dalek HQ? Because obviously, 5 years is a long time, right? So I guess kind
Right.
of to go back from when you first started in 2020, what were like some of the like what was some of the stuff back then versus some of the stuff now? Like, what were some of like the major key differences, if there was any?
Um. Definitely avatar quality. Back in the day, we didn't. It was new. We didn't know what we were doing. And then over time, obviously, some of our great content creators, um, dabbling in the back scenes, they were starting to figure out how to do better and better um models, and that's definitely over time has definitely increased in quality with the models. And but the community's pretty much been the same since 2020. Obviously, it's been some changes of like events and stuff, and you see new faces come and go, but about the same. Been about the same for about 5 years, and we wouldn't have it any other way.
I gotcha. Well, that's still cool, regardless of like kind of keeping somewhat to your guys' origins. Um, because obviously there's got to be some type of baseline when it comes to like your guys' stuff. Um,
Oh yeah.
so I guess kind of one of the questions I wanted to ask, because obviously you guys do have a YouTube. And you guys have been posting
Yes.
numerous amounts of like content, whether it's like you know like tutorials on how to make a Dalek voice, some of your promotional videos, some of your event videos. um so I guess kind of to go into that a little bit, um because there was a video. There's been quite a few videos actually. Usually you guys post like a couple a month or maybe once a month depending on the time frame. um because
Yeah.
I believe it was mid last year you guys had celebrated you guys had a fourth year anniversary expo. I feel like you guys have been around a lot longer, to be honest. If at least it felt like it's been longer. Maybe I'm mistaken. Um,
Yeah, no, it's in, I believe, July, I believe, is going to be the 5th year
that's crazy.
anniversary. Yeah. It's been a ride. Um, yeah, our video production has kind of slowed down a little bit. Our main guy, he's really busy, and so the videos have slowed down a little bit. But who knows? We might pick that back up a little bit. Who knows? But yeah, we definitely love our YouTube. We love our shorts. I think the shorts are the funniest things on the channel.
Yeah, no, fair enough. So I guess kind of to go into the event a little bit more. Um, so obviously when it comes to events and stuff, obviously they've also improved over the years that you guys have been around. So like, what, in your personal opinion, and this could be one that's been filmed, one that hasn't been filmed, what was, like, in your opinion, the best event that you guys have ran when it comes to the Dalek HQ?
Oh man, that's a tough question because it depends. Um, it's very subjective too. And a lot of those events are very subjective. Some people like them, some people are like, eh. And but I think so far some of the best people, some of the from the most majority, I think they said one of the best events ever was Desolation, which was a lore event that was written by our second in command, Stabby, the Prime is his rank, and he wrote that in the Desolation, and so I people still talk about it to this day. That was like 2 years ago, I think.
Oh, fair enough.
That's one of the best ones so far.
So I guess, yeah, it's definitely an interesting sounding thing when it comes to that. Because obviously, with all the videos in mind, because like you were saying, you guys do the shorts and stuff, and the events with all the different types of PvP and stuff, as well. So I know you guys also, if I recall correctly, you guys do just general like hangouts. You said you do general hangout sessions. So is there like a particular like hangout world? You guys do it in the HQ? Like what kind of stuff do you guys do for like
Um,
your normal hangouts?
a lot of the normal hangouts are actually usually like some of the game worlds too, like what is it, VR ball? The one you kind of ride around on the ball, doing the obstacle course. That's one of our guys' favorites. That's one of the hot spots, and then just anywhere like the City 10 or I think the Great Pug. We haven't been there in a good minute though, so or just the bunker. We have our own world called the Dalek, the Scarrow Bunker. That's kind of where we hang out too. Just kind of wherever the wind takes them that day, I guess.
I gotcha.
So there's only
Um,
a few hot spots.
Fair enough, fair enough. Um, So out of curiosity, in that case, what are some other communities that you guys have done like events and stuff with?
Okay. Some of the other communities we've done, it's like a pretty good handful of like the PC communities. We've done some stuff with them. I think back in the day we did LPD. We did something with the LPD. We've had our own incidences with the Combine at some times. You know, we've had our own little confrontations with them. Uh, we have, you know, like the Blood Ravens as well. Most of the Warhammer communities, we've done at least some fighting with them. And then obviously we loved Project Community as well. That was one of the big ones that we did, was Project Community. Unfortunately, VRCon, you know, we did VRCon too before. Obviously, Project Community took that mantle. um, Yeah, no, that's just we haven't done too much with too many. Oh, the clones, the United Republic. We've done stuff with them too. Actually, just recently, in fact. And Arc Station, I believe. Yeah, and just kind of just a little bit around everywhere. Mostly the PC side. We're looking into maybe branching back out into towards the RP side of things too, just because we kind of haven't been focusing in there for a good while.
No, that's fair. I mean, it's always good to branch out when it comes to certain things, when it comes to communities, and that goes with creators as well. You know, it's always good to branch out from what's natural, I guess is what I'm trying to go with there. Um, it's definitely an interesting thing. Hello, everyone. Real quick, just want to pause the episode right here. I want to thank you all so much for the massive amount of support. We have one mega sponsor from Lieutenant Shadow. We also do have some supporters as well from Teal, Spooky Ghost Boo, and Fax Machine. Thank you all so much for all the amazing support. If you haven't heard already, we also do have a merch store as well, where you can get all the Noved Notes apparel, all the sorts of stuff. It'll be down at the very bottom of the description, so make sure to go check that out. I do want to thank you so much for watching this far. If you are watching and enjoying what you're seeing, feel free to hit that subscribe button. It does help me out. We are trying to get to 1,000 by the end of 2025. But with that, let's get back into the episode. Woo! I guess kind of to go down the list a little bit, you know, because obviously with your position, you know, you are the the Dalek general and the ambassador fourth in charge. So I guess kind of to one of the questions I wanted to ask. So how does your like ranking system work when it comes to Dalek HQ? Because all communities have a different like ranking system of like their higher staff, their regular staff, and then like, you know, the regular community. I guess kind of out of curiosity, what does Dalek HQ do in that regard?
So our ranking system is we have the top the top three, which is the Emperor, the Prime, and the Supreme. They're the three head honchos that kind of like make the final decisions, but even then, the Emperor has kind of like the power of veto of this is what we're doing. And then, but then there's the upper HR, which is where I'm also included, and it's and one other individual. And that upper HR we usually all talk together anyway. You know, top three and the plus two. We usually just talk and discuss like the more serious, you know, decision making stuff. Rarely that has to happen, thankfully. But then it goes down to the normal HR, the High Council, Daleks. That's where it's the huge staff team where we all kind of band together to do our other votes and making sure things are getting managed, events are coming out, and you know, just making sure everyone's okay. Then the only kind of authority below that would be the Inquisitors, where they're kind of like the eyes and ears for the HR during the events. So the HR can, you know, focus on running the event and stuff, and then when there's a problematic thing, the Inquisitors they'll silently go over and take care of that. So the HRs don't have to get off the podium and do so, and not have to get derailed. And then other than that, that's kind of it for authority. We all talk to each other. It's a big circle. Just we all talk to each other and make sure the group is being ran correct.
No, that's fair. I mean, that's really cool that you guys have such a, like, I don't want to say complex, but you have a pretty decent system in mind when it comes to, like, how ranks go and what ranks do and etc. Like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Because that's something that realistically all communities could use a little bit of, when it comes to that type of stuff, is having a proper, what's the word? Not procedure, but like a proper. It's
a chain of command, I guess.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's kind of what I was looking for. Or at least some type of organized chain of command, to say the least. Because as we all know, it's
for sure.
It's a very interesting thing when it comes to trying to run communities and stuff. One wrong move and it all becomes chaos.
Yeah, and then thankfully for even within that circle, everyone has their own job to do. So it's not, it's very rare do you have people stepping on each other's toes. Because let's just say this HR is taking care of the Inquisitor. He keeps them in check. These two HRs, they take care of the science team. Me, I take care of the PvP and the community ambassador stuff. The Supreme, he was media guy, but he's a little busy for that. But he's third in command. He makes sure he talks with first and second, and also makes sure it's like the community's running smooth. And then obviously first and second, they're also making sure the community's running smooth and are making the utmost important decisions. And then then you have some people, more science guys. We have a lot of science guys actually in the HR. Funny enough. And then we have our Discord moderation guy. He makes sure that everything is crystal clear in the chats and people are following the rules, and also a helper in the events and stuff. And we have everyone has their own little job. That's probably the most important thing. Is everyone knows what they're doing.
That's what's up. So I guess kind of to go into that a little bit. So what all departments do you guys have over there? Like, what are some of the things for each department?
Kind of just what I listed before already, as examples. Some of those are actual jobs, and I'm trying to think if I have missed anything, but I believe that is majority of the jobs for the HR. Is what I've kind of listed. Advice from some people, or just straight up event hosts, qualifications, and knowing what to do and what not to do, and problem solvers as well. It's just, and we just have a good amount of people under the basket, in the basket, able to help where they can.
No, fair enough.
Trusted individuals.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's cool. So like, it's definitely a cool thing that you guys are you guys have a perfect system in mind in that regard. So I guess kind of to go in a different direction with this. So when it comes to starting into the community and wanting to progress, what's kind of the process from going from, like, let's say a new member to, like, an Inquisitor, for example, or even on a different position, I guess. Like, what's kind of like the it's a weird question, but
yeah, the progression system. So
yes.
You join in the group, you're a drone, standard, off the factory line, and you go to events, and over time you will earn D-bucks, Dalek bucks. And how many D-bucks you have is adjacent to your promotion, and then your promotion, and you pick a tree to follow for the avatars and stuff in your promotion. And so over time you just earn your D-bucks, and eventually you will progress and rank up to different models and different trees that you can use. That's only for in events. Like, if uniforms are mandatory, then like then you follow the uniform, follow what promotion tree you're at and stuff. Outside of events though, or chill events, we're just like use whatever off duty, and we're not super stickler about that. Only for the events like that require uniform.
I gotcha.
So
That's cool. I kind of curious to see like some of the trees and stuff that you guys do, because that's a lot of as somebody who played a lot of different like RPG type games, there's always like those skill trees and everything. So I mean, if you have any pictures of those, I would love to throw them up on the screen and kind of show them off, because I mean, if that's how you guys run it, that's really cool.
Yeah, I do. I have.
Yeah,
I do have them. Let me grab them.
Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, we'll throw them up on the screen. Post editor, we'll throw them up on the screen. But that's really cool that you guys do that, though. That's kind of a unique way of doing it. At least from communities I've talked to. To be fair, there's a lot of communities out there that probably do something similar, but we'll get them eventually. But
these are probably going to be touched up too at some point. Maybe we don't. You never know what the future holds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because if I know we kind of touched this topic a little bit, but I kind of want to go in depth a little bit now that the videos are out. We're talking about VRChat and Project Community. So one of the questions I wanted to ask, because in 2023, Project Community, you guys had actually, you guys were one of the communities that worked with the inter-community PvP event, where it was 4 different PvP communities essentially having this giant event. Where people can, kind of experience a PvP event in a nutshell. So I guess kind of one of the questions I wanted to ask, like, I don't know if you were there personally, but you've probably seen footage of it and whatnot. What was that like to kind of have this giant scale event when it comes to like PvP communities?
Chaotic, to say the least, with that many groups involved. It's very chaotic, and it's still a very positive, it's still a very positive, it was awesome. It was a really cool event. I mean, it came with its own flaws, like, the lag, and at the, and, just the too big of an instance, that's gonna happen, But other than that, other than being too laggy and such, and certain other things that came from it, that was really fun. I had a blast with it when I wasn't dying to the lag. I don't mind dying to the guns, but the lag was real.
Fair. Well, I would say to be fair,
to be
expected for sure, but also to be fair, we've had a lot of differences since that 2023 event, because now we can do 80 people instances. We could do less. There's more ways to optimize now than there ever has been when it comes to
absolutely.
stuff. Even though because I know if I remember correctly, a rule of thumb when it comes to PvP events is you guys don't really have shields on, like the safety setting shields, because you want to make sure everything's shown.
Yeah. It's ingrained in my brain to keep telling people at the beginning of the events is no shields, no particle limiters, no safety settings. Like, play VRChat as God intended. No safety on. Just fucking go.
No, that's fair.
Has that gotten my ass crashed a few times? Absolutely. Am I going to turn that safety setting on? Yeah.
Fair. No, that's what's up. Because obviously you guys have done a few different like events from then till now. So I guess one of the questions I wanted to ask in that regard, so as the years have progressed with VRChat, obviously we've gotten more features and more things to kind of acclimate, bigger community events and everything. So have you guys been able to like take advantage of some of the stuff, or has there not been really like a need to?
There has been a lot of optimization. I mean, we're roughly the same, but we definitely, like, especially with the PvP area, we have definitely optimized a lot of our stuff. Is now proudly we can say a lot of our stuff is made in-house. We have an excellent model maker who Scratch makes everything in Blender for us. And I mean, what you gaze upon now is actually 100% made in Blender from scratch. No outside models or anything. No outside assets. So I'm very proud of this model that he has made for me. Dino is amazing. He's one of our amazing HRs and heads of the science team. But yeah, he definitely ensured that him doing that has definitely ensured that we're a lot more optimized than before, and we're just working to keep being optimized and finding ways to optimize ourselves, but still not take away that luster of hey, we still want to look cool. We want to look cool still.
No, that's fair. Well, I guess kind of to go into the whole looking cool thing, because obviously while you guys, yes, you have your avatars, you also do have a few worlds. So what are some of the worlds that you guys use for like your main stuff?
Right now, some of our main stuff that we have going for us. Oh yeah, he follows me around. He just showed up eventually. Um, some of our main worlds right now is the Scarrow Bunker. We have that going for us, and we also, and it's been a hot minute because we've kind of only been using the bunker as of late. So, but we had a few worlds back in the day. Scarrow HQ, Scarrow Planet, the Daleks. We've made a few Scarrows. Our leader has made a movie Dalek world before, which is a very different style of Daleks. They only appeared once in a movie, and then that was it. We even have our own like Quest Dalek Saucer world. We have an old Dalek bunker it's a little different than Scarrow Bunker. A world called the Dalek Crucible, which used to be a hangout world, but it has not been touched in a bit. But all right. But yeah, it's just we do have a few worlds, but right now the most up to date one publicly is the bunker for sure. The Scarrow Bunker.
Oh, fair enough. I mean, there'll definitely be footage and screenshots on screen when it comes to these worlds. Of course, I'll probably throw a VRC list down below with all these worlds. But that's really cool that you guys, have. I know you said you used, the bunker the most as of recent, but I mean, it's still cool to see you guys have had numerous worlds over the past, couple of years. Um, so I guess kind of to go it's kind of a weird topic, but at the same time it's still relevant to this topic, because obviously there's been a lot of changes when it comes to like the VRChat platform, when it comes to like avatar and world creation. I guess if has it been more, because I know you were talking about how everything's now made in-house. Would you say that it's more easier to get stuff out, or would you say it's more difficult, with all the different changes and stuff?
Um, we definitely take our time because we don't want things to be messed up, and we don't want to push out something half-assed.
Mm-hmm.
Having to make everything in house is probably better because there's not a lot of good Dalek stuff out there that isn't already scratch made by other content creators and stuff, and we're trying to avoid doing that. We don't want to use other people's stuff. We want to use our own stuff, and but because like there's like been only maybe 2 video games that have like Daleks in it and their stuff in it. They're not very high quality assets or whatnot, and so it's just kind of like we're not able to make stuff as quick as probably other people do. Like with let's just say for example like Warhammer and Halo. Um, they all have these environmental assets and stuff that people can play around with, like Halo Archive and stuff like that. They could just pick that, put it in a VRChat world, call it a day. Daleks don't have that. We don't have that luxury, so we have to make everything. And so it takes us time. It does take us some time, but we're happy. We're happy that with the stuff we
Yeah, of course.
we're happy with it. But yeah, it does take a little longer. Sure.
No, yeah, of course. I mean, it's always good to take time when it comes to things. Because obviously you don't want to rush something out and then it be buggy and XYZ. So obviously, kind of to go into some of the specifics when it comes to your guys' avatars, because obviously you guys have different weapon systems, different particle systems, all that sort. I mean, we're very much in an enclosed space. I want to mind you, but is there any particle systems you could show off when it comes to your guys' avatars?
Oh yeah. So we have right here. We have the basics, right? This is the single. Well, here. How should I be showing it off?
Yeah, I'd say. Let me. If you want to try to back up into that corner there, you could probably shoot upwards, maybe.
All right. Okay. All right. So this is the single shot where you have to keep hitting F1 to reset it, F2 to do a single shot. Then there's auto, where you just activate it once and it keeps going. We have beam, which is more traditional to the show as well, because in the show some of them have a beam, some of them just do a single shot. Auto is more for convenience, I believe. Normally we would have Gatling on here, because in one of the newer episodes they had a Gatling gun attachment, but unfortunately my model does not have that due to I actually don't know why it never got added. But I do have mini guns which are maybe perhaps probably a better option, or if not, just a substitute. I can remember the buttons on. I don't use them very often. They still need to be tweaked. Where are they? Come on now. There we go.
Oh.
So the Gatlings are about the same as that. Maybe a little slower in the fire rate, I believe. But yeah, that's just some of the stuff. Some of the guns there. Obviously, I have my own little, side tidbits of my own weaponry here, but I digress.
Hey, fair enough.
Most Daleks should also have a shield like this, just a kind of like a bubble shield. Yeah,
definitely a big thing.
And, yeah. But that was basically the basic fire stuff. There is the single, the auto, the beam, and the Gatling. Is definitely what we have on most things. And then obviously there's other models that have different stuff, like grenade launchers, rockets, and stuff like that, depending on.
Oh, fair enough. No, that's cool that you guys have such a I don't want to say unlimited, but you have a pretty decent sized arsenal when it comes to your guys' stuff on avatars.
Oh yeah.
That's what's up. So I guess kind of want to, because we are running a little bit out of time, surprisingly enough. This did not feel like an hour, or close to an hour.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
Oh wow, crazy.
So I guess one of the questions I wanted to ask: what is something that we can expect within this year when it comes to the Dalek HQ? Any big events coming up, or anything to be seen in the future? What's on the plate for Dalek HQ?
World domination. No, we definitely we've definitely got some stuff planned. Some of our guys have some things. I'm not gonna say too much, but We definitely have some big things planned. There are some massive things planned for the group, and not going to say much, but
Got to keep it a tease. We see how it is.
Definitely. Yeah, I got to tease because I can't say it, but it's definitely some really cool stuff coming our way, and keep your eyes out because it's gonna be fun. Maybe here in a few months, maybe the end of the year. I don't know. That's up to you guys to find out when it shows up.
Fair enough. Well, I guess speaking of that, before we do call it a done deal with the episode, I do want to give you a spot to kind of tell the people where they can find you, Dalek HQ, all the type of links you want on the screen into the description. But yeah, go ahead. Tell them where they can find you.
Well, you guys can find us. We have our Discord links in the actual Discord, the actual VRChat group. We have our own group. We have our Discord link in the Scarrow Bunker. We do have our own YouTube channel, Dalek HQ. We have a Twitter as well, or X, I guess is now called.
I call it Twitter.
Also under the same, under the same name, Dalek HQ. You can find us there on all those socials, and I hope to see you guys there. We're open to everybody.
No, fair enough. Yeah, make sure all the links will be down in the description, so make sure to go check them out. If you have came this far into the episode and kind of enjoyed what we talked about, feel free to click the like button, comment down below. You know what? I'm not going to give you a question. Just comment down the word exterminate. Comment it down below. We're gonna see how many people comment exterminate. Not in the live chat. Not in the live chat over here. I'm talking about in the comment section. Go comment down exterminate down in the comments. But of course,
Alex are supreme.
But yeah, of course, if you are coming back to watch some of the other episodes, feel free to hit that subscribe button. You're already coming back anyway. We're trying to hit 1,000 by the end of 2025, so please make sure to hit that subscribe button. But with that, I want to thank you all so much for coming to check out episode 58. Yes, of the Noved Notes podcast. Once again, I want to thank you all for watching, listening, depending on what platform you're on. And I will see you in the next episode. Take care and peace. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Noved.